All right. Thank you for the warm welcome. So, yeah, great presentation by Eric about all kinds of warfare and stuff. But he also talked about Lightning, running your own node, running your own Lightning wallet, all those kinds of things. And I'm going to talk a little bit about those things. So it's basically a Lightning starter's guide. I prepared for 50 minutes. I have a little bit longer. So if there are questions, raise your hand. We will try to incorporate them as well. So what is Lightning? Lightning, of course, is a second layer on the Bitcoin network, but that doesn't really, if you tell that to a no-coiner or someone who just started with Bitcoin, it doesn't really make sense, right? Second layer, what does it even mean? So I rather talk about these points. So instant payments, low cost, and it's open for everyone. So let's run through them directly. So instant payments, for us in the Netherlands, by the way, this is quite normal. Like, we are used to it. We can pay with our watches, with our phones. We just have to tap. We have NFC cards, all those kinds of things. But in the rest of the world, this is not really that normal. That's something to take into account for the Dutch people here. So the Lightning Network gives Bitcoin basically, for the first time, the possibility to make instant payments, to just scan a QR code, and the Satoshis, the sats, will go from my wallet to someone else's wallet in just a matter of seconds. That wouldn't really make sense if it was super expensive, but it isn't. That's the second point. The transaction costs are really low. I have an example in a minute where I made a payment in El Salvador using my own node for a fraction of a cent. I mean, that's impossible with PayPal, that's impossible with a credit card, that's impossible with basically any other means of payment. The third one is that Lightning is open for everyone. So Bitcoin, of course, is open source. If you are a developer, you can program software to make use of Bitcoin. You can make wallets, all kinds of stuff. But the first 2 points make the last one really, I think, stronger for the Lightning Network. For example, do you guys know BTC Pay Server? If you know it, then raise your hand. Yeah, a couple. So BTC Pay Server is basically a piece of software to run your own web shop and make it easy for customers to pay with Bitcoin. So before the Lightning Network, BTC Pay Server was already there. You could pay with Bitcoin. The problem was that you have to send your Bitcoin, then you have to wait for it to be confirmed. If you really want finality, you have to wait 3 blocks or 6 blocks or whatever. That can take up to an hour. That's not really the checkout experience that you want as a merchant. So with the Lightning Network, it just works. It works directly. So you can program all kinds of stuff. We have our own Telegram bot, for example, for our podcast community. They can make a donation. The Telegram bot pulls an invoice from BTC Pay Server. The client gets a QR code they can scan, and basically their donation message is instantly posted in our Telegram group. So, sure, Bitcoin was already open. Bitcoin was already open source, but now it's just faster, and that means that people start to make really weird stuff, fun stuff, right? So I know someone who put a sprinkler in his umbrella so that people can pay 5 Satoshis and then it will sprinkle water for 5 minutes or something, so you can cool down a bit, right? You could do that with normal Bitcoin, but it's just takes too long. It takes all the fun out of it, and that's what Lightning is for me. It's just fun. You can make a lot of stuff. Yeah, so I find this quite striking. I mean, this is, of course, the title of the white paper. So Lightning, basically, the 3 things that I mentioned, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, it kind of fulfills what Bitcoin was made for, I think. So why is it fun? Yeah, here are a couple of things. This is from my trip to El Salvador last year. I was there when the Bitcoin law came into effect, so you should check it out. And I think yeah, the middle picture, of course, that's in the McDonald's, and I could pay with my own node that's connected in Rotterdam, and people from our community were actually sending sats, so I could pay my hamburger. But that's a big corporation, and of course they can make it work. It was fun, it is cool, but I was really impressed by the right picture and the left picture. So the left picture, for instance, is a woman who makes some kind of ice cream, and we could pay with sats and dollars, of course, cash, but those two choices were the only choice that we had. The right one, that was even better. I arrived in El Zonte, and I didn't have any water, and I didn't have any sunscreen, and it was burning hot. I was, burning while I was standing there. And I didn't even spoke the same language, but we could do a transaction using Bitcoin. It was for her the only possibility to do a digital transaction using Bitcoin. And it was instant. It was, instant finality, as they call it. It was really cool. And when I look back at it, I'm like, that's what Bitcoin is for me. And that's what the Lightning Network makes possible. And I think that paying with Bitcoin is, it's for me even more fun than stacking it and just looking at how many Bitcoins we DCA'd and stacked. I mean, of course, we should do that, but I think that good money, sound money, is not only money that you can save, it's also money that you can spend. I mean, that's a big part of money. If we don't spend it, then how can we ever make this happen? We have to spend it. And sometimes people say to me, but I'd rather spend my euros or dollars and I keep my Bitcoin. That's not the point. You have to think about if you spend, but when you decided that you want to spend it, if you want to buy a beer, you decided it. Doesn't matter if you paid with Bitcoin or with euros, because you could have also bought more Bitcoin with those euros. So if you made your decision, use Bitcoin. There are a couple of wallets that I like. These 5, I all personally use them, and I think they're all fine. So let's run through them. But you can find them in the App Store. So if you don't have a Lightning wallet, start downloading them. Ask your neighbor who has maybe some sats if they can send something. Send them around between wallets and make it work. So the first one is Zeus. I really like that one because it basically gives full control over your node. Which is awesome. So if you run your own Lightning node, it's really cool to check your channels, open channels, those kind of things. If you don't know what that means, there are a lot of other workshops that will tell everything about that. So that will be awesome. Yeah, really, the timetable is packed with fantastic workshops about like the most genius people in the Lightning community. I'm really looking forward to that myself, to sit in the audience for that. So Wallet of Satoshi, it's really simple. It's a custodial wallet, so you use their node. But I think for Lightning, to get started, that's fine. I mean, and as a backup, I also have a custodial node. It's completely fine, I think. Because we're talking about 10 euros worth of Bitcoin. It's your wallet to spend on a night out. You don't take $3,000 or $30,000 with you if you go a night out. That's cold storage. That's something else. This is Lightning. Then we have Breeze, also a really cool one. It's a kind of a hybrid, so you kind of run a Lightning node on your phone, which is awesome. Then we have Moon and Blue Wallet, also really cool. Blue Wallet, for instance, you can connect to your own node, and then the rest of your family can make use of the liquidity of your node. So you become like... I think they also have it in Africa and other places that you have like a local bank. So your family can use your node. It's a really cool hybrid, I think. So for these, for Zeus, setup is required. So it's only working with your own node. The rest, it works out of the box. But then, of course, it's custodial or semi-custodial. So how to get sats? That's an important one. That was really difficult because you have your Bitcoin, your on-chain Bitcoin, and you have to send it to your Lightning wallet. Basically, it means if you run your own node, you have to open a channel, which is an on-chain transaction in which you kind of lock your Bitcoin for a while until you settle the balance, until you settle that channel. So those wallets, sometimes they also need to do that. So for instance, for Blue Wallet, you have to send your on-chain Bitcoin to an address, and then they will put it on the Lightning Wallet for you. It was a bit annoying. It was an extra step. But there are two options, two answers to this problem. Ask people around, right? Or ask people, the people next to you, if they use a Lightning Wallet, maybe they can send you a small amount of Satoshi so you can buy something, a beer or whatever. Or you can even pay them, then you instantly have non-KYC sets. That's also something that you can do. So help each other out, right? Ask which wallet people are using. Most of the time, they are really willing to help you. Second thing, and that's really cool, that's something that happened during the last year. There are quite a few exchanges that are actually implementing Lightning. Which means on these exchanges, you can go there, of course, still KYC exchanges, you need to make an account, etc., but you can send your euros or dollars, and then they can instantly send Lightning Satoshis back, to say so. So that means this process will take you 10 minutes if you have an account. So you instantly have your sats on your Blue Wallet or Wallet of Satoshi, and you can spend them at the bar or at another place. Yeah, I think this was one thing that was really missing, and it's really cool that it's there right now. So, we have a couple of things. We have a Lightning wallet, we have our sats, so we have a filled Lightning wallet, and then the question is, how to pay here for? Yeah, that's a Dutch meme, maybe some will get it, but anyway, you will get an invoice. It's very straightforward. So what happens, you go to the bar or to your local hairdresser or to anyone who is using the Bitcoin Lightning Network. This is also the same online, by the way. If you do a donation to our podcast, you get this. So you always get a QR code. So that's called an invoice, basically. So what you do is you take your wallet and you scan the invoice. What is a really cool thing that is happening right now is actually, this conference, I think it's just finished in time. So I have a couple of cards here, which are just regular, they look like regular credit cards. And they are NFC enabled. So basically you can connect one of these cards to your own node or to a wallet or whatever, and you can pay with those cards. So sometimes when you get an invoice, you don't have to scan it with your phone. You can just tap the card. It's fantastic. It's really awesome to see the speed of innovation and the speed of implementation in the Lightning world, because 2 years back, this all it wasn't there. Now it's just every day something new. So that's really cool. Anyway, on your screen, you'll get the information back that you just scanned. So basically here it says, all right, you're paying to this, this and that, but the most important thing is how many sats you're paying. So double check, especially also when you're paying here. Like most of the people in the food trucks and stuff, they're not like hardcore Bitcoiners. So maybe, fat finger, they can put a 0 extra and your sats are gone. So double check if it's around the amount that you expected to pay. And then it's done. Like most of the time it's 5 seconds, sometimes a little bit longer. I mean, especially when you use your own node, when you use Tor, can take a little bit longer, sometimes a minute, but then you just have to talk to the people behind the bar. That's also fun, maybe to get a little bit of connection, human connection. Maybe orange peel them in the meantime. And after that, your invoice is paid. So there are a few next steps for you guys. So if you don't have a wallet, install one of the ones I mentioned, right? Ask around, ask people to show them which wallet they use. Try it out, because it's just fun. Even if you send it to your own wallets, just experience how Lightning works. The workshop stage, this area, I think this is the place to be. Of course, there are really cool talks in the Gashouder and in the other areas, but here, I think after me actually, Ben Ark, for instance, like he's the Lightning, Lightning Tinkerer, Lightning God. Nah, maybe Tinkerer. That's a better one. But he makes ATMs. He makes the weirdest stuff with Lightning. And that's what I mentioned. That's possible because those transaction costs are so low. And because it's instant, you can... Yeah, there are so many cool things you can do. For instance, for our podcast, you can listen with a couple of podcast apps. I think you can even... I don't know if you can do it with the Breeze wallet, but with the Fountain app, for instance, Fountain podcasting. You can pay every minute, so you can pay 1 cent per minute, for instance. I mean, it's just, that's really, really awesome, I think. There are a couple of other things. You have paywalls with Lightning, so you can, I saw John Carvalho, he made a crowd wall, which is basically, instead of a paywall, where every one of you, if you want to read an article, you have to pay a certain amount. What he made with Lightning a while back, I think it's awesome, is that he says, okay, I want 100,000 sats for this article, and I don't care if one whale pays it or 100 people pay it or whatever. Once this amount is reached, I will open it up for everyone. I mean, that's possible. I mean, and of course, it's also possible with euros or dollars or whatever, but we have to wait until Stripe made something or a bank makes something. And now when you have an idea, people can just make it. And you don't even have to be a developer because there are all kinds of wallet and account systems that are being developed right now. It's just point and click. It's really awesome. And our donation system, we build it ourselves. So a couple of things that you can do. So this workshop stage, stick around and you have a lot of fun and learn a lot about Lightning. I think there are even node workshops and stuff, because that's the fourth point. Run your own node. Why? Because Eric said it before, of course, and he's right. I mean, running a Lightning node means that you have to run an on-chain node. So you have to run a Bitcoin node. And I think as a Bitcoiner, it's kind of our responsibility to do that, because you make a copy of the whole blockchain, and that's what a distributed ledger means. I mean, we can talk about decentralization, but you just make your own copy. It's not that hard. It was really hard a while back, but we have Umbrel right now, we have MyNode, we have Raspberry Blitz. There are all kinds of node software that make it really easy to run your own node. And once you have your on-chain node, then you can basically start with Lightning. And the thing is that you just learn so much about Bitcoin by running your own Lightning node. When I started, I think 2.5 years ago with the Lightning node, basically for the first time I had to really look at how the mempool works. Because you have to open channels. Channel openings and channel closings are on-chain transactions. Before that, once in a while, I will just send my Bitcoin from an exchange to my cold wallet, and that was it. And now I have to look at how it works. It made me realize that when I started, the fees were really high. All of a sudden, they dropped. Like, why did that happen? Turns out there was transaction batching implemented, for instance. I mean, it just, because you're a node operator, you're really close to the Bitcoin fire. You just learn a lot. And it's just fun. But like I said, like every day something is happening. So Bitcoin on-chain development is slow by design. There are good reasons to not rush forward and to add all kinds of things to the base layer. Bitcoin Lightning is more like a Wild West of sorts. And that also has some, there are also some issues with that. For instance, a couple of days back, somebody tried something out with Taproot, and half of the network went down because the nodes had a problem. So I would not recommend because that's something that people sometimes do, is to start with running a node, and they want to become a really big node and route a lot of payments and become like the biggest, the king of the hill, basically. And that's something that you have to watch out with. Don't put more money on your Lightning node or your Lightning wallet that you can miss, right? I would just use it for payments and then later maybe expand. But it's really, really fun. So I would say, try out those wallets. Pay for something with Bitcoin. Experience the magic. I would say, I paid my hairdresser with Bitcoin. I think that's, I orange pilled him when I was sitting there, and now you can pay there with Bitcoin. We have a cafe here, not in Amsterdam, in Haarlem. They accept Bitcoin. They kind of became like the Bitcoin pub of the Netherlands, right? You can actually, people go there from the whole country to pay there with Lightning. And I think that is the kind of grassroots movement that I want to be part of. So try it out. I hope I kind of convinced you. If there are any questions, our stand, I'll come to you, but our stand is in the bar area, Satoshi radio stand. You will see it with all the posters hanging with duct tape and stuff. That's our stand. And you can ask questions there. We can show you different wallets. We can help you. There are a couple of people. I think we have a team of 5, 7 people there, so they can help. So first I want to thank you all for listening to this rant. And if there are any questions, then shoot. You had a question? Yeah, that's a question. I'm the wrong person for that, because in the Netherlands we pay tax, but not on every transaction. So it's a difficult one. But I think they were working on for US persons that there was a limit that is tax free. Sorry, I can't answer that one. Yeah, I think you can export that from your wallet. But yeah, that's something to check when you download it. Yeah, sorry, I would like to answer it, but yeah, we don't really have that problem. So. This is working everywhere. That's the beauty of it. It even worked in El Salvador. So if it works there, it works everywhere. Yeah. This is Ben Ark, by the way. Guys, if you thought this was good, then wait until he gets the stage. All right, I think that's it. So in 5 minutes, Ben will start. Stick around, because I see all kinds of things happening already here. And thank you again. Have a nice conference. Enjoy Amsterdam. Thank you.